Today on Locked On Phoenix Suns, 120-112. The Phoenix Suns open the NBA Cup with a much-needed win against the Utah Jazz, led by none other than Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. Let's go.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Suns. I'm Brendon, Kleen, a staff writer at Awful Announcing and a credentialed Suns media member. Thank you for making Locked On Suns your first listen to kick off your winning Wednesday. Another game coming here on Wednesday night, but we're talking another win. First, don't forget Locked On Suns free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button and do what thousands of other Suns fans have already done. 8K subscribers on YouTube. Shout out to all of you. Join the masses, join the movement, join the everydayers. Become one. Get locked onto the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. Joining me, as always, from the Wild West Valley, my fellow Suns credentialed media member. How are we feeling on this late Tuesday night, Ben Garcia?
I will be feeling better. We'll get to this when we know more about Bradley Beal, which sounds like we have a little bit of an update. We will react to that. But that game was just too close for comfort, even though I never thought they were going to lose. And we'll get to that as well in just a moment. But I'm good. 9-2. You told me through, what is that? Do quick math. 12 games. The Suns are going to be 9-2. I should probably hold my horses a little bit. That was a much-needed W after the Kevin Durant injury.
It's late. I'll give you a pass. 9 + 2 is 11.
Oh, my gosh.
It's all right. It's all right. You don't have to do the math. They're 9-2 either way. It feels good either way, but I just heard the audience being like, Ben, come on. So I had to do one for you. Today's episode, guys, brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook. Start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and get started with $150 in bonus bets. If you win that first $5 bet, visit FanDuel.com to get started. Want to also quickly plug the Locked On Suns daily newsletter. Click the link in the show description below or go to LockedOnDaily.com. Click the Suns logo on there. Type your email address in. Hit subscribe. It's free. It's an awesome way to support the show. It's also an awesome way to get the lowdown, the rundown, the 101 on everything going on in the NBA, here in the Valley, all things basketball. Ben and I writing some content, national folks writing some content, the news across the whole internet about this team, all in one place for you right there in your email inbox. All right, let's get to it. 120-112 is the final score. I'll start off with the moment of the game, Ben, because it's a little bit of a quicker one just to get out of the way, but I think we are continuing to see the Suns make do, survive without Kevin Durant, and if we zero in on the beginning of the second quarter, Mike Budenholzer found what I would call lightning in a bottle, a very random lineup that I don't think any of us would have necessarily picked out of a hat to say this is going to work, but it does. It's very tiny. It is Monte Morris, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, Josh Okogie, and Oso Ighodaro. Three of those dudes weren't even playing like a week ago, and yet they come together. They go on a 12-0 run to really create separation even more and kind of take control of this game. Combination of pesky perimeter defense, making it work despite being small. Some big shots by Grayson Allen. Just one of those moments, Ben, where you sit back and you kind of say, wow, this Suns team is incredibly deep.
Yeah, no, I would 1,000% agree with you. It's so much better than having Keita Bates, Diop, and Yuta Watanabe have to step into roles where Bradley Beal wasn't playing last year. Kevin Durant wasn't injured, but Devin Booker got injured last year. So it's much better to have these guys. Just a quick note with all those guys that you were mentioning. Still not loving Ryan Dunn, who I thought had some really productive minutes tonight. Only getting 20 minutes. Coach Bud is not budging off that. That is something that we will get to eventually. We've already kind of talked about it as well. For me, it just kind of, this was my main takeaway from the game, and it leads me to my moment that, bear with me, I promise it does make sense, but when Lauri Markkanen hits a bucket, Royce O'Neal inbounds the ball, Jordan Clarkson steals it. That makes the game, what was 107-94, immediately go to, let's do math correctly this time, 107-98, because 4 points plus 94 equals 98. That right there is kind of been the epitome of the Phoenix Suns. They don't have a blowout win yet, and I feel like they should have 2 or 3 of them, at minimum 2, this game and the Blazers game. I don't know if you feel this way, but that needs to be a little bit of a wake-up call for the Suns team, where I understand they're on the road, they're missing a couple guys. This Jazz team is not very good. They are plucky, and they're frisky, and they play really hard. But you need to be able to stomp the lights out of some of these teams to give Beal and Booker even more rest. I know they didn't play a ton of minutes tonight, but there's no reason in this game that I felt like in the first quarter, early in the second quarter, when they were kind of piling it up, this team has a tendency through 11 games to take their foot off the gas. And I'm not so sure if you feel that way too, but I don't love that about the Suns. Although we are talking about a win, keep it more positive. But
I think it's fair.
When
Budenholzer
called the timeout immediately, and I guess I'll get to that, immediately brings them back in, which is important to have a coach in Budenholzer. They set up a 3, Booker hits a 3, game over. So moments, but all in the same condensed time. That right there is just the epitome of what the Suns are. They can take their foot off the gas a little bit, and I wish they wouldn't do that. Something you got to be better than, because you are not the team that won the championship last year. You cannot take anyone lightly.
I think it's totally fair, and that's why I kind of quickly scooted through my, depth point. This is just a game on a random Tuesday against the Jazz. I wanted to shout out the depth. I thought that run was important, but I knew, your point was going to also be a critical part of this, which I think is just the reality right now, right? I think that the Suns it is no KD. It is no Nurkic. We got to get that out of the way. But even with all of that said, the Suns should just beat the Jazz. And it doesn't even matter what we think in theory in a vacuum about the team's talent compared to one another. They were up big. You got to just finish the job, right? And so they had a lot of ups. Bradley Beal had a couple of big shots with a steal in the middle that you could have easily put up here as a big moment in this game. Royce O'Neal had a little kind of self-created run at one point. Booker had countless, of course. And yet it's still sort of a couple of a possession game down the stretch. And it's one thing when it's some resilience against the Mavs. It's another thing when you should just be up 20 against Utah and sitting Book for the last 12 minutes of the game, right?
I'll never get upset with them for not blowing out even a Mavericks team that has struggled to start the season, kind of. They were up 64-49. You need to be able to have the ability to step on teams' throats. Yeah, 64-49 at halftime. They should have the ability to step on teams' throats like the Jazz. It's not a concern. It's not something I'm super worried about. But those are just the times where when you're on a back-to-back, if you put this team away early and you're emptying the bench, Booker and Beal aren't super tired going into Oklahoma City the next day where they have to play back-to-backs. Beal potentially might not be playing. He's got potentially a hurt calf from what we've heard. Those are just things that are avoidable if you put these teams away. And again, it's a win. They won. It's on the road. No Nurkic, no KD. But it is something about this Suns team to just keep our eyes on so far through the season that they don't necessarily haven't stepped on teams' throats. And I wish they would.
1-0 in the NBA Cup, plus 8 in that utmost important point differential category.
Despite Jordan Clarkson doing everything he could to stop it. They called a timeout to get a 2-for-1 in the fourth quarter.
I love the Jazz thinking that they are going to be in the mix in this NBA Cup where their point differential is going to matter at all. That is some optimism that we can all appreciate.
That was funny.
Devin Booker led the way in this one. The Suns' three-point shooting led the way in this one. We'll dig into both of those big factors next. First, today's show is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook. Get ready to tackle the NFL action all season long with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started. Let's check it out here. What do we got in the wild world of college football? I don't usually, I'm not going to give you any advice here, but again, we're just looking at big minus odds. That is exactly what the world of college football is for. I'm seeing minus 10,000 for Penn State. Put $5 on Penn State this weekend, walk away with the W, and the good folks at FanDuel will reward you with $150 in bonus bets to get to the real work and get to some more interesting and fun stuff in the beyond. Visit FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Keeping the show rolling here, Ben, let's dive into the three-point shooting. 96 attempts in 2 games here for the Suns, led by Devin Booker. And I think that's the kind of wrinkle that's most interesting here. I want to remind everybody to sign up for the Locked On Suns daily newsletter first, though. Click that link in the show description or type LockedOnDaily.com into your browser. Type your email address in, hit subscribe. You support the show. You get news and analysis on the NBA and the Suns straight to your inbox every single day. And best of all, you show what this fan base and these everydayers are all about. You show the Kings, who we're trying to get revenge on Wednesday night, or the Lakers or the Thunder, who we're going to see on Friday, and you show them who's boss. Also, Ben, I don't always tell people this, but it's in the link in the show description as well. Our TikTok account. We got to make a plan about going live here on TikTok. Give the
TikTok
people a
is
reason
doing
to come
numbers.
check us out. Yeah.
Our TikTok's doing, you know what? That's a good time to plug these things. I'm not exactly sure what the @ is for our Instagram, but our TikTok is doing numbers recently. Locked on PHX Suns on Instagram. I'm assuming.
And on
it's
TikTok. I believe it's that everywhere.
Yes. Locked on PHX Suns. Follow us on TikTok.
We're going to start going live on TikTok. When? What are we going to do? Pre-games? What are we thinking?
I was thinking about this the other day.
Halftime?
We do need to halftime's not a bad idea. TikTok's a little strange because you're going to get a lot of other people as well. So I think pre-game might be the best way to do it, especially like potentially right in front of the court. Maybe the Suns, the very nice people over at the Phoenix Suns media PR team allow us to do some really cool stuff. But yes, follow us everywhere. Locked on PHX Suns. And who knows? Maybe I'll follow you back if I remember.
Not a problem.
For those that don't know, I'm the one posting all the content. Brendon.
I'll be there if we go live.
Brendon will go live with me.
Ben chops everything up and does a great job over there. All right, let's get into the three-point shooting. So 18 of 39 in this game after on Sunday the Suns put up 57. And I kind of briefly shouted it out the other night because 57 is just an astronomical number. It didn't quite get that high today. But again, as we kind of look at life without Kevin Durant, I think three-point shooting is going to have to be a big part of how the Suns win these games. But beyond that, it is also, I think, if I were to say in February, Ben, remember that stretch in early November when KD had that calf thing and the Suns, had to kind of tread water and survive and whatever? They learned how to really commit to and embrace their three-point shooting. And I feel like that's kind of what we're seeing. Where, in particular tonight, yes, Grayson Allen's going to have nights like this. Yes, Royce O'Neal's going to put up 5-6 a game almost every night. Tyus just, kind of off, cold, whatever. But Booker and Beal really committing to the pull-up threes. Even in big spots, in tight moments, when this game did get a little too close for comfort like we talked about, the Suns' 2-star players said, this is how we play. This is how we play. And I know it can make you pull your hair out when they don't go in, and we can bicker, and there will be games this year where we say, why on earth did he take a three in that spot? I already know that's coming. But on nights like this, it's just nice to see that Bud's message, this team's identity, it is really coming through even without KD, and maybe especially without KD.
I think what you're alluding to, that it is really impressive that a team, when they lose their captain, when I mean captain, I just mean best player. I'm not trying to argue Booker, Durant, 1v1-2, that the playbook doesn't go immediately out the window. They don't turn back into mid-range assassins. They continue to shoot threes. One wrinkle with that, and I know you just harped on Booker and Beal, but this is something I don't think a lot of people have talked about, and I just want to get your opinion on it because I'm starting to get a little worried about it. Grayson Allen, you did a whole video on it before I even showed up here. Yoked Grayson Allen. He's not shooting very well from three this year. He is at 31% through 8 games. Are you worried a little bit about that? Because and I promise it all wraps up together, because the identity of this team is going to be shooting a boatload of threes. And Grayson Allen's kind of got to be an anchor for that and hit open threes. He has not been very good. Are you a little worried that maybe his new frame is starting to cause some of those issues?
I actually am more worried about a different aspect of Grayson Allen this season, which I was going to throw your way in the next segment, but it's definitely related here. So I'm trying to pull up the exact number because I saw it come across the other day, and it's definitely changed since then because they've played a couple of games. But his 3-point rate, so the percentage of his shot attempts that come from deep. Tonight, it was 9 of his 10 shots, so this number will even be higher after tonight's game is calculated. But through 8 games, it was 76%. More than 3 out of every 4 shots that Grayson Allen takes this season were coming from deep. That's even higher than last year, miles above what it's ever been in his NBA career. And I wonder if that's limiting him. I wonder if that is you're not getting the maximum Grayson Allen. I'm not worried about what you said of the shot. I don't think he's going to be a 31% shooter. We talked all preseason about it's probably going to level off somewhere between 45 last year and 38 or so, which is league average, right? So that part doesn't worry me. What actually worries me more is you're not getting him helping out as a playmaker. They're not really using him as a defensive guy. I understand you got better options. I'm not saying they should use Grayson Allen to be some sort of defensive stopper, but he's not really chipping in that way because Dunn and O'Neal and Beal are doing those things. He's way less impactful on this team. He's really just a spot-up shooter. And so I think it'll get better in terms of just making those shots, but you gave this dude a big raise. He's a big part of your team. All of a sudden, it's like, go stand over there and make shots when you catch the ball. It's a big departure from a guy we thought was 6th man of the year, all this stuff.
Yeah, and I know this is stupid, but I feel like it is a good question. But I am acknowledging it is kind of dumb to ask, but just bear with me here. Is there a potential he just doesn't fit here? Whether he's too small or whether they're not going to use him to be a 3-and-D guy. I hate to get so far off the subject, but this was something that was bothering me as I was watching the game tonight because I need Grayson Allen to pick up the slack while KD's gone. Maybe not against the Jazz, but definitely against the Thunder.
Well, let me combine it back with the point that I was making, right? Because if we're saying the Suns' 3-pointers are going to be part of their identity, and one way they can win games if Durant is hurt or if there's just a game where the other team has a good primary defender to throw at Durant and maybe he's not A+ KD, but he's B+ KD and they need to do something else. So I can't sit here and tell you that and then say, well, Grayson Allen shooting threes is a bad thing. Of course, they got to shoot a lot of threes. They want to shoot a lot of threes. He does that. He does it well. Okay, of course, anybody who can do that is going to fit in the modern NBA as long as they're not getting absolutely toasted on defense, which we know he's not going to do. So I think he fits here, but I think it comes back to, is he being maximized?
Yeah, that's a much better question.
When you start to get to, again, as you said, not to chase the bait of trades and all the kind of other nonsense you can quickly get to your imagination with, but if this is kind of the new normal for Grayson Allen, where he's just a guy that's going to shoot more of like a Seth Curry or whatever other kind of player you want to think about like that, is that a dude who's worth the amount of money you're paying him, the amount of minutes? That starts to be, I think, the question that this type of situation makes you think about. But to wrap my thing, big salute to Book and Beal for committing to playing a different way and showing themselves and us and everything that they can go out there and win games this way too and not have to rely on that in-between stuff all the time.
Oh, I just want to throw out another thing, again, with Bradley Beal. Stepping into whatever role they need him all year long. They need him to be the second guy. Bradley Beal was pretty good tonight. And listen, did he shoot super efficiently? No, but he wasn't awful. And in big spots, they got it. Those back-to-back threes that, I was going to harp on pre-show until I thought of something else. Bradley Beal came up big, man, in big moments, is continuously playing well defensively. Unsung hero of this team.
Chasing around Keontae George all night. I mean, he's not any sort of great player, but that's a frisky young point guard who, 31-year-old Bradley Beal has to fly around the court.
And he's doing it on a random Tuesday night when the NBA season is starting to kind of, just for the casual, starting to kind of drag just a little bit because the first week and 2 week is over. Now everyone goes into this hiatus until December 25th.
Although the rate, I don't know if you've looked at the ratings, but no one was watching the first 2 weeks in the NBA.
I did see that. But Bradley Beal, a random Tuesday in November, doing again whatever he's asked to do. I feel like sometimes we have to defend Bradley Beal because the box score doesn't always show that he was amazing, but continuously doing all the little things again tonight and was a perfect Robin to Booker's Batman tonight.
Only one of us here doubted Bradley Beal heading into the season. It wasn't me. So I don't know who we is. I don't know where that label
How dare
came
you?
from.
How dare you turn me on my guy? It's because you were fluffing him up. You wanted him to just be, oh, everything is good. I was motivating him. Someone's got to do that on this show. And it wasn't going to be you, Brendon.
Got it. Okay. Let's check the Twitter timeline as we take a break here and get back to the Beal injury, which is also going to be a story coming off of this game. Get through our rookie watch, and I'll see if I can throw a box score oddity Ben's way before we wrap up. First, today's show brought to you by Mint Mobile, coming in and fixing everything wrong with big wireless providers, which with them, what you see is never what you get, but somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, though, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they absolutely mean it. We all know how much of a pain it can be to deal with the big wireless providers. They're nickeling and diming you. It's a fee to upgrade this. It's a fee to add that line. It is impossible to take advantage of all these deals they're constantly offering. It's complicated, it's messy, it's obnoxious. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for, once again, just $15 a month. To get this new customer offer in your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. $45 upfront payment required. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. All right, Ben, let's wrap it up. I want to check here, as I said I would, on the wonderful Dwayne Rankin, who, look, not every NBA team even has dudes who cover the team and actually travel. So shout out to Dwayne here.
Dwayne is literally on the road all year long. That guy does not sleep. The
NBA season is very long, and I don't think anyone knows that better than the beat reporters.
Oh, man, he is there all the time. It is crazy.
So Mike Budenholzer said as we're recording here, we'll see how he does, how he wakes up, what the medical team has for us tomorrow. Not exactly a ringing endorsement that everything is A-OK. Again, left calf soreness for Beal, Ben, which I hate calf in basketball. Giannis Antetokounmpo missed the entire postseason last year with a thing like this. We obviously know the ramifications a little lower down on the leg. I'm not even going to say the words of any of that here. But KD already down with this exact thing. And now Beal as well. I say it every time, not with any sort of happiness in my voice here, Ben, but the worst part of the Bradley Beal injury experience is that it is always something different. How would we already go from right elbow to left calf?
Has he been healthy at all this year, like fully? Wasn't he on the injury report to start the season too, like with something?
I don't remember,
but
I remember the elbow and this, but your point.
Well, the elbow was in game 2. The elbow was in game 2, but he is literally. Oh no, he wasn't on the injury report for this game. And then the basketball injury gods were like, let's change that. If it's a calf, man, we are lucky with Kevin Durant, that it's potentially the same calf from what's been speculated, what's been reported. Gambadoro yesterday said that it was potentially a 2 to 3 week injury. I just think it's going to be a month. You think it's going to be a little bit less. Neither of us are doctors. We don't really know. But Bradley Beal, when I hear calf, I just think a month. And with no KD, man, I don't even know.
I mean,
what
look,
to say.
we're already looking at a Kings game on Wednesday night, right? Sacramento just beat the Suns on Sunday, and they're a tough team to handle, as we saw.
And Beal was good.
It's a lock on Wednesday night when most people are probably going to be checking this episode out. No KD, no Beal, no Nurk in that game. That's just a loss. I mean, like the Kings are going to beat a shorthanded Suns team like that. If you're talking about starting Plumlee, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, it's getting to be a lot already. So every team deals with it. When it rains, it does seem to pour, but this is not great. The Suns are not beating the always injured allegations here at all.
Well, I don't know if it's the Suns. I think it's just Beal, because KD is pretty injury-free last year. Devin Booker played the minimum 65 games last year. He always has a hamstring at some point in the season or rolls an ankle, but it's really just Beal. Kevin Durant, we know, will be fine and will come back and still be awesome. I don't know, man. This is just a human element. And it's hard to feel bad for someone who gets $50 million a year. I do just feel bad for Bradley Beal, man. He looks like he wants to be out there so bad and beat the always injured allegations that you just said. But the guy just cannot stay out there. I don't know what it is. Maybe you have to move to full Joel Embiid, never play back-to-backs, which tonight wasn't even a back-to-back, but 2 games in 3 days.
You know what?
There's a human element
on
I
that
just feel
human
bad
side
about.
Is Beal, as a person who covers the Suns, cares about the Suns, his enormous number on the cap sheet, of course, we can agree, is less than ideal. His trade value, blah, 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 blah. Salute for taking the money. You know what I mean? He had started to have some of these injury issues, and Washington said, we don't know what we're doing. I guess we have to max you because you got drafted here, and that's what teams do. I can never blame Bradley Beal, watching how much these injuries have piled up in the years since, to just say, I'm securing my 15 generations out family with this money. You know what I mean? Knowing how much it was going to suck for him physically.
What a backhanded
the next
compliment.
Few years.
What a
it's
backhanded
really not.
compliment.
I genuinely am being honest. You're talking about a human element. We love to smash these guys because we can't get off the freaking trade machine. But these are people who, if Bradley Beal were to become a free agent last summer or something, what kind of money you think he's getting? He's not getting that. I'll tell you that for fact, because even if you believe in his talent, he hasn't been able to be on the court, and we're right back to it again this year. So
he'd probably get Klay Thompson money on the market.
Half of what he got. I know it sounds like I'm joking, but I genuinely am not. I think that a guy that,
credit for just snagging the dough, Bradley, while it was there.
What do I care about Ted Leonsis' money?
It was funny. I posted that thing on all social media platforms 2 days ago, and I was like, man, Bradley Beal is so unselfish. And someone commented on there and said, he's the most selfish person, some bozo, because he took all that money. And I'm like, buddy, if you had just broken every bone in your body and someone offered you $50 million plus, are you not going to take the money? Or are you going to say, well, that's not fair, let's do $100 million? You're not being selfish. And then you're just being
if your
dumb.
boss offers you a raise at work, are you going to go, actually, I'm not quite worth that? No, of course you're not.
People are such meatheads sometimes, man.
All right,
Such
rookie watch before we get out of here, Ben. Ighodaro, 21
yes.
minutes tonight. We mentioned Ryan Dunn started. I think you got your thoughts out there. He guarded Lauri Markkanen. Dunn, real quick, I guess my point on him would just be that's a tough matchup for Ryan Dunn. I think he's more physically ready for the NBA than a lot of rookies would be, given that he's 21 and everything else. But big wings like that, those are going to be KD matchups. Let's just kind of keep that clear. I think Dunn is somebody that you would put maybe more on a smaller wing, like a 2 guard or a 3. Markkanen's like a 4/5. And so, shout out to the rookie for competing, but he did get kind of bodied a few times. Oso, though, stepping in with Nurkic out, and this might have been my favorite Oso game of the year. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting and there was a better one. I don't want to say best because then people try to argue. But 12 rebounds. He just looked physically ready. Like I was just saying about Dunn, whereas in the preseason I kept watching Oso thinking, physically he might not be there yet. And this one I was like, all right, keep throwing him out there. He actually seems like he's figuring some things out.
Yeah. You know the old saying, the good, bad, the ugly. If I was characterizing Oso Ighodaro's game, I'd say there was good, decent, and some bad moments. There were some moments where he really flashed in this game, and it just felt like he was Johnny on the spot, grabbing a board, tipping in a shot, and it just felt like all those shots meant something. Maybe it's because of rookie. We read into it a little bit more, but every shot it felt like meant something. There were some decent moments where I thought he could have hit an extra shot or made the extra pass, but overall he was in the right place at the right time. And then lastly, there were a few, not terrible. I'm not trashing Oso Ighodaro. I think overall he was pretty good, but there were some bad moments. I thought he was late at some points, sliding on defense. I didn't think he was amazing in the pick and roll. I thought he was late to some assignments. Pretty much these are all defensive. I didn't think he was bad offensive at all, but mostly if I was grading this game for Oso Ighodaro, B+, especially for a rookie. So yeah, not good, bad, ugly, good, decent, bad. Mostly good, mostly decent, a few bad.
You could look at this game and say, okay, well, it's Kyle Filipowski. The dude is, not the most physical player in the world. He's just going to kind of be out there jacking threes and whatnot, being a little, Kevin Love-ish, and that's a player you can handle. But the reality is, this is a league where most backup centers are like that. You're not in a world where it's like, Ben Wallace and Antonio McDyess or whatever on like the 04 Pistons. Like these guys are Oso can survive in a lot of matchups because there's a lot of Kyle Filipowskis, right? Like I'm looking at the Kings on Wednesday night. Trey Lyles kind of plays backup 5 for them. The dude's not a center. He just plays center because it's 2024. Oso's going to be able to have a decent night. The Thunder on Friday, they don't even have a center healthy right now. They literally don't have one. So I think we could see some more good nights that he strings together here before Nurk gets back. I mean, hopefully it's sooner than later, but if it's not, I think Oso will be fine.
I know Oso Ighodaro is listed at 7 foot. There's no way that guy's 7 foot.
No, he's not.
He's listed at Oso Ighodaro. Height, weight, 7
on
foot.
ESPN, that's what it says. I just clicked on it. Is that what it says on Basketball Reference? Because that's not what it was like pre-draft or anything.
No, isn't he supposed to be like 6'9"?
Yeah, he's 6'10" on Basketball Reference. ESPN just doesn't know what's going on. Somebody needs to fix that.
I was like, I was just about to say, this is the shortest 7-footer I've ever seen. This guy lied heavily on this one, but okay.
The weight is right in both places. So somebody just wanted, maybe he paid somebody off to make him a 7-footer
Bunch of
over
numbers
there on ESPN. Last quick little box score thing is only 8 turnovers from the Suns tonight. Again, as we kind of evaluate the without KD era right here. And 3 from Tyus Jones, like the worst turnover night of his life, and they still only had 8. So we hammer them when they throw the ball around too much. We got to give them some praise when they clean it up. So that'll wrap us up. Hit follow or subscribe, guys. Another recap show coming your way Wednesday night. Locked on PHX Suns on all social media platforms, as we covered. Get those TikTok lives and get those up and running.
And that game will be that game recap will be at 1 a.m. Thank you, NBA start times.
Thank you, daylight savings. Really, that's what screws
Thanks,
us.
Guys.
Everyone
Appreciate
else moves
it.
around, and Arizona stays put. Yes, we'll be there on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you get it. Become an everydayer. We'll talk to you then.